All right. Open the meeting.
Call the roll.
Or good afternoon. We're here
Good
for the
afternoon.
executive session to discuss them.
Executive session.
Yeah.
Special meeting.
Thank you. Special meeting, please, for the police and fire. And we'll open the meeting at 3:03.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Here.
Mr. Crandall?
Here.
Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
Simcoe here.
Okay, before we get there, want to do the police first? I'll give us just a general overview. This year, the instructions were basically status quo. We have our union contracts in place, so that will be a factor in the 2016 budget, since we already have a contract signed, sealed, and delivered for 16. The revenue, that's going to go over, what's good for the police department, that's the fire department now. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I, talking to different departments. And with that, I'll turn it over to the police, if you want to come up, or you come up, or somebody's got to come up.
Into the hot seat, Nancy.
Yeah, she knows the answers. Chief can shake his head.
I'll first turn it over to Scott, who will talk about the revenue, basically what we're planning for next year and maybe future years out. And then the Chief and Nancy can talk about the expenses with Scott and helping if we need to.
Yeah, basically, during these hearings today and tomorrow, we want to cover police, fire, roads, and general fund. Those are the major funds of the township that collect tax levies, and all the employees are paid through those four funds. Today we'll be doing police and fire, and we'll start with the police department. You should have a packet here. In the packet, there's a 5-year projection, followed by several pages, 4 pages of detailed line item projections. And the last page is the police fund capital projects. On the revenue side, of course, the major funds are real estate taxes. And back in October, we approved the rates and levies issued by the auditor. And according to his calculations, he's projecting a 2.5% increase in the tax revenue over last year. So we built that into the 2016 budget. On the projections, I wrote it back to 2% for the outgoing years, just to be conservative. On the expenditure side, this budget is pretty much a business as usual budget, delivering the same level of service that we delivered last year during the next year, except for just a couple of items. We beefed up the training line item. On the second page, 51318. And we did that because we have 6 officers that are training for the Army Guard. And we had some additional state mandated training that we didn't have this current year. And then also we added a new line item for SRT supplies. $10,000. The rest of the line items pretty much got in line with last year, unless we found out during the year that we were under budgeted and we had to come back with additional appropriations. One of my goals this year is to have fewer of those resolutions that increase appropriations.
Don't pay any attention to today, by the way. Don't pay any attention to today under the fiscal officer.
Next year.
Yeah, next year, that's right. We've got a boatload of them on our agenda.
And then the last page in the packet is the capital projects budget. We annually transfer $150,000 in the capital fund from the operating fund. And you see we have a very healthy balance. And for 2016, the planning on purchasing one vehicle for just a patrol vehicle, and then a second used car for the undercover officer. And that's the vehicle and accessories only for $60,000. And then the equipment, we're going to be replacing 3 of the Dealux computers that they have inside their squad cars. An additional tough book, I think that's the computer in the canine vehicle, and crash data equipment.
For advanced accident investigation.
Other than that, we can take any specific questions you have. But like I said, it's a continuation of the third year.
I might add that the SRT equipment is strictly ammunition. There's no anything else in the budget.
And the SRT is the SWAT training, is that? Okay.
While you're looking that over, I'd also like to point out that if you notice that the police fund once again has a healthy ending balance, cash balance that takes us out. According to our projections, which our projections go to 2020, we still have a healthy balance. So the police fund is in good shape for the next foreseeable future, 7 to 8 years. Just to let you know there. Chief, you want to throw anything in about additional things you're looking at for next year? Programs or?
For next year, basically, the biggest thing is the training for the honor guard. We bought most of the equipment this year, as far as we're in the process of doing it. And the state mandated training is 11 hours for each officer to keep their certification. So we're anticipating obviously some cost with that. As far as cars, like Mr. Smith mentioned, we just have we only need one marked patrol vehicle, and then the covert car. We've been doing really well in cars. It's the second year in a row that we've only bought one patrol car. And as he said, it's pretty much maintaining the same level of service. We won't have quite the hiring cost because we'll have a good dispatcher list here very shortly. We're in background, still doing backgrounds on them, racking them up, and we have an officer list here that is for a couple of years yet.
How many vehicles do you have?
In our actual patrol fleet, the marked cars, we have 15.
15?
But then there's detective vehicles and different things, added to that. We have a transport vehicle.
Well, because of the fire levy, I've got a fairly good feel for their equipment, but police I don't have a feel for. And I wonder if we could get that from you. It doesn't have to be a part of the budget. I understand the budget, but I like to know, the year we're in, plus look out maybe 1 or 2 years.
I can tell you that next year, we drive the cars to 130,000 miles currently. We only have 2 officers assigned to most of the patrol vehicles, which in the past, we're going back a number of years now, we would have 3 assigned, so the cars do last longer. And it's just based on mileage when we retire them out, unless, you get a major, like a transmission problem or whatever, as the car gets older.
How many miles a year?
How many do we drive in a year? Usually.
What I'm trying to get a feel for, just take the patrol cars, if we've got 15, how many do you have to replace at 130,000?
Well, next year,
I don't know if that's 3 years or 2 years.
I talked to the case, it's gonna vary just based on the mileage on the cars. And like I said, most of the cars have 2 officers assigned. There are a couple of the cars that do have 3 officers assigned to that particular car. So it's based on the mileage. And talking to the mechanics, we're gonna probably need 3 or 4 patrol vehicles next year.
Next year.
Yeah, next year.
17.
17, not this year.
No, I get
So
it.
that would be what we call the transfer advances. So in 17, you've got 400,000 budgeted towards that. Is that what I'm reading correctly?
We didn't, not to my knowledge.
No.
Well, you've got 400,000 for transfer and advances. That's your capital improvement,
Well,
right?
No.
150 of that goes to, the police capital project.
Right, so is that expense come out of capital?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 400,000 we've got in for, plus whatever, but cars would be
Yeah, we
included.
won't spend
Okay, all right, that's all I want to know.
400,000.
So we're not gonna get a big curveball here in 17 saying it's 800,000 now. It's-
No, absolutely.
You've got it figured 400,000, okay,
Yeah.
great.
And that's one of the goals of moving money every year, set amount or whatever we can afford into the capital. So when he buys 4 cars, it doesn't affect his operating budget. The
Right.
money's already set
Yeah.
aside, build it up each year, and then when we need to spend money for 4 cars, it's there.
Yeah, your balance will be 665, it looks like. But that's what I'd like to get a better feel for. If you could go out, I think I asked last year, at least 3 years on your projections,
On just specifically vehicles or?
capital, your capital items. I just think it gives us a better feel for how our balance looks and what we've got ahead of us. Like, I wouldn't have guessed you'd need maybe 4 cars next year, because we got one last year, we got one this year.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to get a better feel for, the
Well,
capital
it is
part.
going to vary based on,
Yeah.
how much they're driven.
I get it.
Some officers drive them more regularly than others, it's just based on mileage. We can give a best guesstimate.
There you go.
And beyond vehicles, quite frankly, we don't see any major capital things coming.
No.
I mean, eventually,
I
we
noticed
may
that.
have to replace that boiler in the police station, and we're gonna have to transition to new.
What, now
portables and
that
new
boiler, would you
radios.
say that's 3 years off, 4 years off?
The boiler, I suppose that's gonna basically be when it stops working, and there's no way of predicting that, okay?
But if you could,
But
you
we
know-
are gonna have to transition to new portables and new mobiles. We have ones that were actually bought by the county, and they're becoming obsolete. They don't make these particular, I don't have it with me, they don't make those portables. We can still get parts for them now through talking to the lieutenant through 2016, but those radios are gonna be obsolete and they won't be able to be repaired.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get a feel for, more than just 16, like, I'd like to see at least 3 years on capital. And if you think the boiler's going out in 3 years, let's put it in. If it doesn't, we get another year or 2 out of it, I'd rather err that way. We could give you a copy of what fire does. They're, like they do it, I guess, per building, or you have the engine numbers down. But I think it gives us a better feel for not only 16, but what's ahead in 17 and 18.
Okay.
Chief, on those radios, can you replace one, as the radio goes?
We're gonna
You don't have to do it all at once.
Exactly, because that would be too many. We've
So
got like
that-
50 portables
Right,
and
that's okay.
and 20 mobiles, yeah. Yeah, we would transition into it, much like we started with tasers. We transitioned into changing over the tasers, because those, it's unfortunate, but, they're good for 3 or 4 years and become obsolete, and you can't find parts to repair them.
And then you talked about the training and the SRT supplies. How about computer services and software? It looks like it's in here for 21,000. It ran 6. Is there something new we're doing there? That looks like it jumped up.
That was the thing that lost it?
It's,
No, that was the-
I got the account number,
51319.
but I don't know if that helps you.
For a 20.
Yeah, 51319. I don't remember what the headings are here, just a minute.
These are all contractual things. A lot of them are through the township, actually. The right stuff, the annual license work, ACT, leads online, paradox, systematic backup. A lot of these come from the township that we can't do anything about. And then some of them, like, for instance, leads online, that's ours, West Publishing, that's ours. But the rest of them,
Well, just look,
we just,
He's talking about the increase, we were replacing about 6 workstations, computers.
yeah, it looks like we spent like 6,314. We budgeted a little less than 13,000. This year, September, we'd spent 10, and now we're jumping to 21. That just looked to me like in the overall
the
picture.
contracts are just, I can give you a list of all the contracts and what the annual fees are, but there's really.
So they must be really increasing these contracts.
Well, there's been a couple that have been added too, Leads Online, I believe the first year we got free, and that one is just coming up. So some of them are covered for the first year of the initial purchase.
Okay. In the big picture, I realize that's
How
not
about if I
a
give you a
huge
list-
amount,
How
but
about if I give you a list of all of them?
give it to Zeigler.
How about if I give you,
Chief, do all our cars have the dash cams and,
Yes, all the patrol cars, the marked cars,
okay.
not the detective cars or the auxiliary cars or what.
Do we have any of the individual body cams or anything like that?
We do not at this point. Actually, there's only, I was in a meeting with the other chiefs, Toledo just brought it out themselves within the last couple of months. And I don't know if you saw the article, Sabine City, they were going to purchase them in 2016, they put that off because they're developing better and better equipment, and it's only been recently, as far as some civil rights issues and such, that there's been good policy and such that's come out. Honestly, that's something to be discussed. I don't know that there's really a need. I know that's the trend, and there is a possibility, I've read some things where the state may mandate that, okay? But it's not close to that at this point. I read someplace where the governor said he would sign it if it does pass the House and such. But, quite frankly, at this point with the car cameras, I can't identify a need. Knock on wood, we don't get complaints, we don't get issues.
Sounds good.
If we had to do it, do you have a feel for the cost of it?
The body cams themselves are about $400 a piece. $350 to $450, something like that. We would only put them on the patrol officers. We currently have 31 officers assigned to patrol. And then there is going to be some cost for the storage. We would probably buy from the manufacturer, and it's escaping me the name right now, that has our car cameras, but we have to buy more capacity for the storage and that sort of thing. To give you an idea, I believe in that meeting, Chief Crowell mentions that, they're a lot bigger. So, obviously a fraction, I think his extra storage was maybe like 60,000, something like that. So, if that's the case, we'd be maybe like 10,000 or something. To give you some idea, but that's just a very, very basic.
That was my understanding, that storage and that stuff, the camera itself, it's not so much the big expense, it's storing all this stuff. And that, because every day is a new day and you're running off, all this time on these things. And so it's a huge storage thing and expense.
Yes.
Isn't that it?
Yes.
Or no?
You do turn it over after a point in time, but yeah, you're going to keep that for, again, that's something that's developed in policy, but for at least 6 months or so. And then you erase it, obviously, for due date and such.
There's probably some sort of recommendation by somebody that, tells you how long to keep that stuff.
Yeah, we're not going to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
That's something that's similar to Toledo or the other policies.
Other questions?
Good. John, you all right? Thank you. Appreciate all your effort.
Next department up is the fire fund. Coming up right here. The one you want to bring up. Once again, this is our first year of the levy, the new levy collection. If you look at the bottom line now for 2020, we are actually projecting a larger ending cash balance than we used for the levy figures, which is good news. So I am very confident that when we said we'd go out to 2020, through 2020 on the levy campaign, we'll make that no problem. So what we said for the levy. And the second thing is, the chief addressed is we are fulfilling many of the things that were brought up in the levy as far as equipment, personnel. So, Scott, you want to just start with the revenue, just to...
Yeah. The fire fund packet you have in front of you, the first page is the fire projection, and then the next 3 pages are the line by line budget items. And then we also have the fire fund capital project budget, the ambulance, and the EMS fund, and then the last 2 pages are breakdown of capital items. First, on the revenue side, the 2 big items are the real estate taxes and the EMS county contract. The real estate taxes, I didn't project any increase for 2016, but then I built in 2% thereafter. And the reason for that is, on all the other levies that we have out there, on the auditor's rate resolution, they increased the other funds by anywhere from 2 to 4%. For some reason on the fire levy, they just took last year's amount and added the new levy to it without projecting any increase. So, we're going with the auditor's number, and but I wouldn't be surprised if it was better than that. So, I would say this is a conservative estimate on the taxes. On the EMS county contract, we budgeted a 3% increase. Is that under negotiation, or if that's right or not?
Well, I have a meeting tomorrow morning, I should know something about that tomorrow morning.
And really, that's the major, just taxes and the contract. On the expenditure side, again, most line items are just budgeted to continue the current level of service forward. If we found out that some of the items planned were short during the year, we keep those up, so we want to come back with more appropriation resolutions. There is some things built into the expenditure side. The new EMS program is going to be a net of 2 firefighters, more than they were last year. 5 part-time firefighters. And then, to take advantage of the early years of the tax levy, we've made some, couple, I guess I can't call them one-time transfers if we did it twice, but at the end of this year, at the meeting tonight, there'll be a $400,000 transfer. We approved the appropriation at the last meeting, and approved the transfer tonight. And then we increased the transfer to capital next year by $280,000, which is what we normally would do. And like I said, let's just take advantage of the early years of the levy contract. It's going to allow the chief to replace that second fire engine a year earlier, if we get around to it, 1916. And then it will give us some flexibility down the road too, of looking at these projections there. It's kind of a mathematical model, but the decisions we make going forward will affect all those numbers, of course. And so just one piece of flexibility would be that our capital fund is very well funded. project. Show 61,000 for the building improvements. And that's on the worksheet, that's on the undersigned paper. And then the vehicles is on legal size paper.
Question. When you look at the estimated ending balance of 2015, if you look at the ending balance of 2014, it's rolled over to the budgeted amount of 2015. If you look at the end of the 1,550,394, shouldn't that be rolled up into the beginning balance of 2016?
Yes, I just rounded it.
Okay, 50,000.
Easy and concerned.
Okay, very good.
Chief, I was wondering about the part-time salaries.
Yes, sir.
It looks like that's jumping quite a bit. And I'm wondering with the two new hires, it just looked like that's up quite a bit from past years.
Yep. That's the worst case scenario, Mr. Crandall. We had, what we did, we figured on that budget is we took the 8 individuals, the maximum amount of hours they could work in a year is 1,500.
Oh,
And they're not gonna work that much, because what I've done is, anytime we have staffing of 16, 17, or 18, we don't open that day up for a possible part-time position. We only open them up when we're at 14 or 15, that way we have the bumper of somebody being off, or have that manpower to do those things that we need to get done in that particular shift. So that's the worst case.
that just looked like a high number to me.
And right now, we have 3 part-timers right now.
And then this is just a question on, it's account number 51324, apparatus repairs. It looks like there's a $5,000 number in there. Well, it looks like it's a new account.
That apparatus repairs, Mr. Crandall, is for accidents, that's for our insurance.
Oh,
That's for the minimum, we have to pay the first 1,000, I think it is, on our
Okay.
insurance plan. And that's put in there in case we were to have to pay that $1,000.
I'm thinking about all the repairs
All the-
and
oh, no.
the equipment. I'm thinking,
No,
why is that 5,000 itemized?
we got rid of all the KMEs and we're okay.
Yeah, no, but I just meant,
Sure,
I couldn't figure out what the heck does that mean?
right,
Oh, so that's a reserve in case
Yes.
you have an accident?
correct.
Okay.
And we're not counting on having 5 accidents.
No, I understand that. And then natural gas looked a little high to me, I don't know. I'm thinking with new stations and equipment, or heating bills,
Well, this is
you know, rates are way down.
This is, if you remember, this is the first year of number 3's fire station actually having a geothermal system. We had replaced, there were parts that the original contractor, $35,000, were never put in the system itself, so the system was not working the way it should. Again, this is a worst-case scenario. Hopefully, we'll see after this year's heating system, heating season, because this will be the first year of an actual full year that system is in place. We'll see what the natural gas cost is there.
And that's the only station that has that, right?
That's the only station that has the geothermal. I'm sorry, Two's does also.
Oh, 2 does also?
Two's has it, but the whole system was put in it too.
Yeah, this is stuff.
There's a good rate.
And then on your capital, I'd just like to compliment you that you see the 61,000. You got a breakdown of 60,675. It's nice to be able to track the number and see what you're thinking about. The same way with the equipment, you've given us a 5-year, or maybe more than that.
And again, with the equipment and the projects, improvement projects, that's the worst case scenario on both those.
Yeah, and then I also understand moving that engine up. That seems like a good decision to me, getting that moved up. I think it's probably a good thing.
Any other questions? Before Mr. Tyler starts, I'd just like to thank my staff. We start this back in August,
Wow.
and we go back 3 years, previous budgets, and take a look at where we are, where we trended to try to come up with good numbers so we can be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. We've done a great job throughout this whole, and Scott's done a great job with us too. He's been a couple times with us and helped us out tremendously. Just like to thank you for all the hard work.
Any questions, guys?
That's,
John?
I'm done.
All right, great. Appreciate you acknowledging your team. Great job.
I just wanted to mention that we do have a new fund for next year, the transport. I don't know what the official name of it, what's the official name of the
Well, ambulance and ambulance.
fund? Okay. And,
Somebody has suggested,
we're moving, to start it up and put, to get the program going, we're moving money from the operating fund into that fund. We are projecting a small revenue of 58,000 because it takes many months between getting going and actually receiving the money, but that is up as far as appropriations, the money's there for that.
Now, are we all, I mean, on the agenda tonight, we've got 3 firemen.
we're replacing a retirement that happened 2 or 3 months ago, and we're adding 2 additional, and then there'll be,
But then are we set to roll? I know the equipment's set, the inspection's done. Have we contracted with a billing?
not yet, we're
Still
set up a
have
meeting,
that to do.
we've set up a meeting with them. We still have our DEA license to go ahead and review, and our certs for Medicare and Medicaid. And that will be done through the billing company.
So January's still the target?
Yes,
or-
we're hoping January 1. We're hoping.
It looks like it's getting tight.
It is very tight, very tight.
Let's try to, I hope
Well,
we
some of
can.
some of it is really outside our hand, the licensing.
Yes,
I mean, we're moving ahead, but.
state inspections, licensing, and all those things. They have to inspect that firehouse. They have to make sure that all of our medication cabinets are appropriate. They have to inspect the vehicle. We have a few things we have to do.
But on our end, everything,
Yeah.
well, other than we need proposals for billing, or need to make that decision, right?
A lot of the laws have changed since the last time we transported, as far as Medicare and Medicaid. So we had a lot of equipment we had to purchase that we didn't have to have before.
Oh. But we had funds. I'm more worried about how long it
Right.
seems to be taking to get it. I suppose we could implement it without billing for a while if we had to. I'd just like to see us try to keep that target. You know, it kept moving.
Right.
At one time, I was thinking September. Now, and I understand, but I'd like to see us try to make that target in January if we can.
Why is there salaries under the ambulance and EMS fund?
Because the last time it was in service, Mr. Genowine, they put salaries against the operations of the vehicle and as how much the vehicle costs us to operate. And we wanted to be upfront with everybody and let everybody, get the actual operating cost of that vehicle. And that's one of the reasons we put the salary against that vehicle.
Is that when it's operating?
That's only when it's operating and going to pick up somebody or take somebody to the hospital. Yes, sir.
We good, guys?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, you guys. Thanks for all your effort. And I'd like to make a motion to end our budget committee hearing today at 3:37.
Second?
Mr. Genowine,
Yep.
Mr. Kendall,
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Thank you. We do have our regular meeting tonight at 6 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
5.
What about-
Now, don't say 6.